Good morning. I'm Reverend Lyon, your minister here at Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church, where it was about 77 degrees when I walked in, but it's getting cooler, hence no jacket. It's summer almost, right? Whether this week has felt long or short, familiar or surprising, we're glad you're here, and I believe that our worship associate, Jordan Hunter, would like to welcome you.
Good morning and welcome to Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church, wherever you are here in the sanctuary, joining us on Zoom, or connecting with us later online. As Reverend Bill mentioned, I'm Jordan Hunter, and my pronouns are he, him, and I'm serving as worship associate this morning. Heritage is a Unitarian Universalist congregation in the Universalist tradition. We are a community grounded not only in shared creed, but in shared covenant, seeking to grow in compassion, love, justice, and connection. So whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, we hope that you find something here that nourishes your spirit. If you are here this morning, we offer you a special welcome and invite you to let us know you were here using one of our connection cards, like this one. These are not just if you are new. You can also use these to update your contact information, ask a question, request a conversation, or simply let us know what's going on in your heart. Those of you who are on Zoom, you'll find a link of the online version in the chat called We're Glad You're Here. For those in the sanctuary, you may leave your card in your seat, hand it to an usher, or place it in the black box at the back. You're also welcome to use the QR code to do it online. For those of us joining us online, you may also wish to turn your camera on near the end of the service, when we'll invite our Zoom community to join us visually for our closing benediction. And now, as we settle into worship together, we ask you to silence your cell phones and other devices so we can fully be present in the moment with one another. And I think Reverend Bill has a few announcements for us.
Thank you. I do. Thanks, Jordan. Of course, there are announcements on the back of the order of service. You've probably found those. And even more come out on Mondays with the email that Martha sends out and the weekly connection. If you're not receiving those, let us know on that connection card. You could also let us know if you're interested in being part of the website refresh team. No IT experience is required to join the team. There are roles for a lot of different folks there. You know, every once in a while, someone apologizes to me that they missed a service. No need to apologize. We're all busy. But if you really want to catch a great choir song or a time for all ages, you can watch or rewatch most of our services on our YouTube channel. Did you know that? Well, on the back of that order of service in the bottom right, there's the web address, or if you happen to have the new church app, it's one click away to watch all of the worship services on your phone. So if you don't have the app, today is a perfect time to get that, because there's a team available thank you very much, Ellie. There's a team available at the potluck today to help you get that app and teach you how to use it. And I did mention potluck. So enjoy food, whether you brought food or not, there will always be plenty. Next week brings two very different options for worship. At our normal time, there will be an in-person only summer solstice celebration. It takes place in our outdoor chapel, weather permitting. It's right out that way. If not, we'll move inside. And full disclosure, it's not yet as accessible as we would like it to be. It's a beautiful setting, though, and if you're not able to join us on Zoom, we are sorry. However, you may want to join the online worship service from our denomination's General Assembly, and that's broadcast at 11 o'clock. It's actually being held in Louisville. I'll be there in person, but you can watch that service online from your own home. The link is on that back of your order of service, and it's also on our website. And next Sunday, there's also the first of 3 family-friendly summer hangouts. These are for everyone. This is an ice cream social that takes place at the Newtown Farm Market. Yep, you go there, nobody has to scoop it. You pay them, they scoop it, put it in your cone, you've got ice cream social. Nice and easy. And it's a great place for intergenerational getting to know. I hear people say, I wish I knew some of the kids better. I wish I knew some of the folks who are past having kids. That's a great chance to do it. And now, Jordan, would you please offer our call to worship? And Rowan, would you be willing to light our chalice? Thank you.
Time keeps moving, whether we are ready or not. Seasons change, people change, communities change, and still we gather. We gather to remember what matters, to support one another, and to make room for wonder, wisdom, and possibility. Let us enter this time together with curiosity, compassion, and wonder. And now, please rise as you're willing and able for our opening hymn, Building a New Way. And please remain standing for our covenant. By this covenant, we affirm that love is the spirit of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. And if the young people want to come up for a time for all ages. Yeah.
Anybody hear that? If the young people want to come up for time for all ages, they can do so. Come on up. I'm going to sit here because it's harder for me to get up than it used to be. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I thought you might want to, I could introduce you to a friend of mine. Would that be okay? Because I have a special friend I think you would like to meet. It's not this woman. This is my spouse. This is my spouse, Barb. Thank you for bringing. Right. This is Mr. Bear, or as we pronounce it, Mr. Bear. Mr. Bear. This is actually Frank's Mr. Bear. Frank is my child. Let me come closer so you can see Mr. Bear. See him? Yeah. How old do you think Mr. Bear is? How old? 3? Okay, good guess. Yeah. 29. Interesting guess. 100, yes. Well, it's not 100. It's not 3. 29 was really, really close. Because Mr. Bear was a gift to my child Frank from a member of this congregation, Sarah Curtis. If you're watching, Sarah, Mr. Bear says hi. When Frank was born. And Frank is 27 years old. So how old do you think Mr. Bear is now? Close. It could be 30, but it was given to Frank right when Frank was born 27 years ago, so that's what I think. That's what I think. But it's possible Mr. Bear could have been made 2 or 3 years before, so it might have been 29 or 30. You could be right. Anyway, what I think is interesting about Mr. Bear's head's kind of cocky there, but look at that. Frank has loved Mr. Bear. Frank loved Mr. Bear so much. Mr. Bear went everywhere with Frank. Frank and Mr. Bear played and had a lot of fun together. They got messy together. They even got in trouble together. Mr. Bear went to family camp with Frank. Family camp where you do all kinds of fun things, and you stay in like a building or a tent. Mr. Bear accidentally got left at family camp in Wisconsin, which is a long way away. But the staff at the family camp found Mr. Bear in Frank's bunk bed. You know what bunk beds are? Yeah. You do? Are you on top or bottom? You're on top and bottom? You have what? Okay, well, this was a bunk bed, and Frank was on top, and Mr. Bear was next to him, but against the wall. And when we left Mr. Bear there. So Mr. Bear and Frank were both very sad. But the staff there went and found Mr. Bear, and he was crying his little beady black eyes out. He was so sad. So what they said is, I bet Mr. Bear wants to get back to Frank. So they tucked him nice, cozy in a box, and they flew him back to Cincinnati on a UPS plane. So Mr. Bear and Frank were happy again. Isn't that cool? Frank loved Mr. Bear so well. That's what I was going to tell you. Frank loved Mr. Bear so well and so hard that his leg plumb fell off. This leg right there. It fell off. Because he played so hard with it. That's how. It played so hard that it just came off. So Mr. Bear had to have surgery.
He didn't know what he was doing and that accidentally broke because he was playing too rough with it.
I think that's probably right. Rowan suggested...
And some children was that he played too rough with them.
Yeah, I think Rowan and Ren have it just right. Frank didn't know. So Frank was playing kind of rough, and that's how the leg came off. But you can see here, see the black thread? That's where I sewed the leg back on. I sewed it on. And Mr. Bear's, he's lost a lot of fuzz. I mean, that leg has got...
My daddy and mommy sews everything, and when I toy stuff gets broken.
Okay, so way to go, parents. Ren's mom and dad sew things together when they get broken too. That's pretty awesome. So but I wanted you to look at the fuzz. The fuzz is all worn out. Like, the nose is almost gone. Why do you think, here's a question.
Because it's so old.
Because it's so old? Yeah. So why do you think we didn't just throw Mr. Bear away and get a new one? Rowan?
Because he loved him so much.
Because he loved him so much. Any other reasons? Yeah, Ren?
How do you notice that Mr. Babcock, his leg moved?
Well, we got the leg kind of fixed, but I think it needs some surgery. And I think Frank's boyfriend is a really good sewer, and I think he's going to sew it back on and do some really good surgery. But I want to ask you this question again. I'm asking the question this time. Why don't we just throw Mr. Bear away and get a new one?
Because he likes it how he is.
He likes it how it is, even with the broken leg.
Sometimes
All right. Oh, so next time Ren's going to teach this, because Ren has a story that you're not able to hear. Ren, they can't hear you, so I'm going to tell the story. You have a bump on your knee, don't you? So even with the bump on your knee, even with Mr. Bear's broken leg, even with me not being able to get up from my chair as easily as I used to, we're still lovable just the way we are. Mr. Bears and people. So I wanted to let you all go to, they're going to make some goodies for potluck, I think, right? Pancakes? Pancakes coming. In the meantime, let's offer them a blessing. Repeat after me. May you be safe. May you be loved. And may you always be just exactly who you are. All right, go make some pancakes. What's next? Candles. A lot of energy.
Yeah. And now is for one of my favorite parts of every service, which is our candles of community. As each of us arrives this morning with carrying experiences that others may never fully see, moments of joy and gratitude, or moments of worry, grief, or uncertainty, marks left by time and change. So as we light these candles, we honor what we carry, both spoken and unspoken, and remind one another that none of us carries it alone. If you are worshiping on Zoom, you're invited to share a joy or a sorrow in the chat. Reverend Bill will then read it and light a candle on your behalf. If you are here in the sanctuary, you are invited to come forward using the side aisles. If you would prefer to hold your concern or celebration quietly, simply come forward and Reverend Bill will light a candle in silence for you. Or if you would like to share, please take the microphone, tell us your name and pronouns, and briefly name a joy or sorrow. Then you can return to your seat using the center aisle. Let us hold one another in the wider world, in love as we gather these candles of community.
I'll light one last candle to represent those joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts, unspoken, and for all those who do not have the voice to share them. I thought rather than a formal prayer this morning, I'd invite you into a different kind of reverence. So let us take a moment to settle in this place. You can close your eyes or gaze out the window or at the altar or at me and just notice. Notice the chair beneath you, the floor beneath your feet, the breath moving in and out of your body. There's nowhere else you need to be right now. Nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to fix. Just this moment. If thoughts arise, let them come and go. If worries arrive, acknowledge them gently. If gratitude arrives, welcome it. And if grief arrives, welcome that too. Whatever is present, Let it simply be present. Let us rest together for a few moments with the gift of silence. Amen.
And now it's time for our sharing our abundance. And this week's place is going to be Transform Cincinnati. And Transform Cincinnati does a lot more than just offering clothing that allows people to feel like themselves. It is a place for trans community to gather and to just hold each other and to have that extra community space. If you have saw the news when I mentioned my acquaintance's unfortunate passing when he was found dead, they held the vigil for him, and it was a very beautiful event where everybody was able to truly just sit with the feelings and just be surrounded by supporting community. But they also often allow people to get clothing that they need with donations. So with their events and programming, community connections for LGBTQ plus people of all ages, as well as those closet appointments. So you can give directly with the QR code or with the link, as well as cash and checks can be placed in today's offering plates to help continue Transform Cincinnati's important work of being that space for the trans community. If you would like your contribution to support our church instead, make sure you're using the blue envelope and note church or pledge in that memo line. Generosity, especially in supporting us to live as our most authentic selves. And our reading this morning is going to come from A Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change.
Thanks, Jordan. Thought my little friend would like to join us. Time is strange. I'm not sure anyone truly understands it. It's a noun, but not a thing. We can measure it, but it doesn't quite work like the other dimensions. And you know, the more complex concepts of time, like time warps and quantum entanglement and even the space-time continuum, they make my head hurt. No matter what science tells us, and I'm not doubting science, but my experience of time doesn't always match up. That's why I say that time is strange. A dear friend of mine on his 99th birthday, though, finally explained it to me. He held up a photo, one of those big funnels you used to see in the shopping malls, back when there were still shopping malls. There's a throwback in time. Maybe you remember these funnels. They were installed by some community group like the Rotary or the Kiwanis to encourage kids to beg their parents for coins for some worthy cause. Kind of a sensory version of sharing our abundance. You drop a nickel in on its edge at the top of the funnel and you watch it wind its way in ever smaller circles toward the hole in the bottom. My friend said that's how his life had felt. Time moved so slowly when he was young. Would he ever make it to 8? Or 18? And then suddenly his own children were grown, and before he knew it, his later years seemed to rush by faster and faster and faster and faster until, as he put it, you drop right into the abyss. I'll call his name Martin. Martin, my friend Martin. As much as I love that image, I come to believe that it's only one way of experiencing time. The reality is more complicated and more personal. For some of us, at certain points in our lives, time seems to slow down. It opens up. For others, at other moments, it narrows, it tightens. It leaves us feeling kind of caught in the middle. Have you noticed that? How sometimes we're surprised about how slowly time moves, and other times by how quickly it passes. Sometimes we're beginning, sometimes we're ending, and sometimes we're simply living in the middle of something. Time, as I say, is strange. And then there's change. And I don't mean the coins the kids drop in the funnel. I mean that sometimes welcome, other times resisted kind of change. Octavia Butler, the visionary writer known for her deeply prophetic insights into human nature and the future, names something many traditions circle around, but so rarely say so plainly. God is change. And whatever that word God means to you, or doesn't, hold it loosely for a moment. Because what Butler is naming is that change itself becomes sacred, relational, formative. And doesn't that framing shift how we might understand the experiences we find ourselves in? On the rare occasions when I slow down enough to notice time and change on a large scale or a very small one, I find myself humbled. Because on a clear night, we can look up and glimpse time on the cosmic scale. Or we can borrow a glimpse through telescopes and realize that time and space are far more vast than our daily to-do lists. And even here on this pale blue dot, we can stand at the edge of a canyon and we can witness change unfolding over 4.5 billion years of change, etching history into rock. And perhaps if we can accept Butler's theology, we might begin to see that God is present in that change. If that's true on that cosmic scale, why wouldn't it also be true of the shifts and transformations within our own bodies, our minds, and our shared life together? Despite our very human instincts to resist them, time and change are not our enemies. They are our companions. So the question isn't how to escape them, but how do we walk with them? And perhaps this is where faith and a faith community offer what other aspects of our lives might not. You see, a theological grounding that embraces evolving realities, perspectives, and lived experience can support us through the disorienting times we face in our lives. Our faith, it doesn't say, we will be your immovable rock, or we will turn back time, or we will make your life great again. Faith, at least our faith, is about staying engaged, remaining present while change happens. This you faith is a container with flexible and stretchable walls to hold us gently as we ourselves evolve through the cycles of our lives. Change is not something we pass through on the way to something sacred. Change is where the sacred meets us. And sometimes, my heretical friends, perhaps that is where we meet God. Not beyond time, not after change, but with one another as time and change do their work. This community has been reimagining itself, as communities must, and we will continue to do so. There's a danger, though. There's a danger in always looking ahead. Let me show you what I mean. There's a place. Another one of those things that's not quite a thing. It's out there somewhere. Oh, what is it? You know what I'm talking about. It's where the sky, it kind of meets the land or the water. What's that called? That's the horizon, yes. Is it real? I mean, can we measure it? Can we measure its distance? And the answer is yes, with the Pythagorean theorem for 8th grade. Another time warp. Turns out that its distance depends on the height of our eye. So let's assume we're standing at sea level on a beach and that our eye is, say, 5 feet 7 inches from the ground. How far do you think it is? The horizon. I probably know one person who knows the answer. Reese, you can't answer. Coast Guard Academy graduate, you can't answer. How far do you think it is?
14 miles.
14 miles, good guess. It's not accurate, but it's a really good guess. What else? Somebody else be brave. 21 miles. It's 4.7 kilometers or 2.9 miles away. Now you know. If you're taller than I am, and some of you are, it's farther. Just for fun, let's say we want to go there, to the horizon. So we hop on our boat, we paddle out 2.9 miles, stand up carefully, because you're in a boat, and look out in the same direction. And what do you see out there? The horizon. How far away is it? Wow, it's still 2.9 miles away. And that feeling can be maddening because we never arrive. No matter how hard we try, the horizon we seek remains ahead, distant, and just out of reach. In life, how does that feel? as someone still trying to figure out their vocation or voice, as a caregiver who can't seem to give enough, as someone grieving, still reaching for wholeness. How does it feel? If you have an aspiration or an expectation that you should be smarter, prettier, richer, more fit, more outgoing, more thoughtful, more, you name it, and all you can see is what remains unfinished. It can leave us lonely, adrift, longing for the comfort of shore. Let's sit with that for a moment and watch this.
Japanese bowls that were made long ago. I have some cracks in me. They have been filled with gold. That's what they used back then when they had a bowl to mend. It did not hide the cracks. It made them shine instead. So now every old scar shows from every time I broke, and anyone's eyes can see I'm not what I used to be. But in a collector's mind, all of these jagged lines make me more beautiful and worth a much higher price. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls. I was made long ago. I have some cracks. You can see how they shine of gold.
When we look back, when we see the scars, the cracks, the shortcomings, how do we hold them? Our culture offers one answer. It tells us that what is broken should be replaced. A cracked vase, a worn quilt, a body that no longer moves the way it once did. And if we learn to see ourselves through only that same lens, measuring our lives against some idealized horizon forever out of reach, we end up carrying a heavy burden indeed. But there's another way of seeing, an older wisdom, a Zen saying, the obstacle is the path. The crack isn't something separate from the story. The crack is the story. In Japanese aesthetics, there's a concept called wabi-sabi, the recognition that beauty is found not in perfection, but in things that are weathered, worn, and shaped by time. Kintsugi is a Japanese art form that grows out of that same sensibility. It's the practice of repairing broken pottery with gold, honoring the crack rather than hiding it, making it part of the object's story. As the Peter Mayer song suggests, we can view our lives like one of those Japanese bowls, in some cases made long ago, longer for some of us than others, I know. The cracks show, yes, and the scars and the scratches and the dents, the places that prove we've lived, that we've been of use, not kept in a box or on display, protected from both harm, but also from appreciation. And there's a word I just love to consider, appreciation. Because two of its meanings blend so well with this idea. Appreciate, to honor with gratitude. And appreciate, to increase in value. You see, what we appreciate by viewing as valuable actually becomes more valuable. It appreciates, like one of those Japanese bowls. Consider this. Would you really rather have a shiny new cereal bowl from Amazon delivered same day? Or an ancient, cracked, gold inlaid bowl that has a story to tell? A story like Frank's Mr. Bear, who was loved so much that his leg fell off. It was crudely repaired by a dad who wasn't especially good with needle and thread. But who loved a child who loved a bear. Barbara and I made a special trip to retrieve Mr. Bear from Frank, who at 27 still cherishes Mr. Bear. Changes leave traces, and those traces have value. As your minister, I'm still new to this role, but as a member of this community, I've been watching many of you for a long time. And I've had the privilege of observing the changes in many of your individual lives. Some seem modest on the surface, others dramatic, and many private. In each case, what I see is a deeper, earned beauty emerging, even when it doesn't feel like it. And of course, what are we as a community, if not a collection of individuals? Amazing, unique, scarred, perfectly imperfect works of art. Each of us, and all of us together, evolving over time. Time is strange. Changes leave their mark. They tell the story of where we've been, of what we've survived, of who we've become. And perhaps, if we learn to see them rightly, they become not something to hide, but something to honor. All that we change changes us. And those traces, yours, mine, and ours together, have value. Now let's sing a song. Another song by Peter Mayer. This one's called Blue Boat Home. Please rise as you're able. When we get to the third verse, we'll start making our ways to the outer edges of the sanctuary for our benediction. And folks at home, we'd love to have you join our circle. This could be a good time to turn on your camera if you feel comfortable doing so. Let's sing.
upholding me, the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. Born the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
All right, change leaves traces. May we honor them not as signs of what has been lost, but as reminders of what has been lived. And can we see if there's folks? Oh, there's some, at least somebody joining us. Lynn, would you be willing to extinguish our chalice for us?
I will.
Can we connect over there with Jordan?
Yes.
You've got to break you two up. There we go. All right. And Jordan, please lead us in our benediction.
Yes. May the Spirit of life, that each of us possesses, flow from one to another. May it stay with us. And bring us peace and harmony. Until we are together again. Amen.